I had my whole life just stripped from me, you know, like soccer and all the way down to like my dog taken from me, you know, like everything I knew is no longer there. And I could think like, what in the world's going to happen from here, you know? And I just remember my grandma just telling me like, it could always be worse. And she'd always just remind me to be grateful. And I said, you're right. Like I could be dead. Like, you know, I fell asleep and I had a pole going 70 miles per hour.
The cold plunge keeps me coming back every morning. I'm so addicted to the plunge.
I know.
I just love it.
I think I'm going to get in this week at the spot.
I've learned to shock myself. So the last 4 times, I've gone right under my whole head and everything for about 5 to 10 seconds until I feel like I'm going to die. And then I'll pop up to my neck and I'll have trouble not blacking out.
Oh.
So I come close. I come really close to something.
So it's
good.
A lot of breathing though. You have
A lot of breathing.
Yeah.
And I'll do that for 3 minutes now. I'm pretty good now. Yeah.
So you've worked your way up.
I've worked my wife is, she's great. That's I had to catch her. We have a competition.
Yeah, that's how I was with Jonathan. He fucking kills it.
Yeah.
Cold plunge. And then after his first go and then my first go, I was like, wait, this can't be. I'm going to beat this guy.
How do you feel though? Like, is there a huge difference?
Huge for me. Huge.
You like more energy, less stress.
No pain.
More recovery.
Yeah.
Face looking good.
Yeah.
Pores are looking tight.
Yeah, no pain.
I don't know about that. I haven't I've only gone under a couple times, so I don't know about that part of it, but more so like inflammation.
Yeah.
Especially if you're traveling, it's phenomenal for it because my system's like, I think ultra sensitive. So I swell no matter, even if the flight is literally an hour.
Yeah.
I swell no matter what. So it brings inflammation down. And then it also is super good for your brain because it does release dopamine and serotonin. So it helps people that get out of a depressive state as well. So it increases all the good stuff that we are constantly searching
needing for after we work out.
Exactly.
Or anything. Wow,
well, plus, you know, when your body goes into fear,
right,
when you're about to die or you think you're going to die, it sets off some chemicals in your body to protect your organs and cells, and that it normally doesn't give off. And when you're in the cold, that's what it does.
Oh, okay.
So it gives you, it gives you stuff that, you know, brown fat, I hear.
Yeah. It helps, like basically
stimulate it, to burn it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is like stored
fat.
Yeah, tummy fat and things like that. Really good. Yeah.
I gotta get on this.
Yeah.
Really good. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
Super excited.
Nice.
Michelangelo, can you cue the intro?
Yeah. Bong, bong, bong. This is it for us. This is it, baby. Yeah. Why don't you like to dance with us?
I don't know because I don't think I helped pick the initial
No, you
one,
didn't,
so
and I neither.
We're gonna have to.
You're right. We're gonna have to.
We'll have to do a new dance.
All right, that's
intro.
fine.
There's
that's fine. We can't dance. That's why we took the funky one. Yeah.
I like the fun.
Yeah.
That's the only one that like came on the little.
That's not copyrighted.
Well, welcome, Ashley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Thank
I mean,
you.
already you guys haven't heard, but Shane has been commenting on your arms, and they're amazing.
Amazing. They're perfect.
So sweet.
But you are I always get them. It's hard for me to say.
WBFF.
Yes, WBFF.
Okay,
Pro.
what is the difference between WBFF and IB?
I can't say that one. That's one I have a hard time with. So WBFF stands for World's Beauty, Fit, and Fashion. So it's more like fitness modeling, flaunting, kind of getting that more, in my eyes, the feminine.
Okay.
But there's other categories, so everybody does have like a different type of look that you have to kind of bring on stage. And then with the IFBFF or IB.
FF or something?
Yeah, oh Lord, I can't even say it. See what I mean? They're looking for more of that hard, leaner look.
Okay.
So, you know, when you go on stage with WBFF, you're more in like these cute, like, you know, poses and like,
right.
Like
Okay.
I always like to say like Victoria's Secret
Sure.
fitness, you know, style. But yeah, I got my first pro card at my first show. this May.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's
that's
huge.
awesome.
I know
Thank
the
you.
process is pretty grueling to get the pro card, so
The whole process was exciting and hard, but my motto has always been choose your hard. So you can either stay in the position you are in or, go in the position you want to be, which is going to benefit you, which is still hard, you know? So
amen.
I like
that
that.
is true.
It's
Yeah.
all
It's
hard.
true. It's all
Because you have
hard.
to,
Yeah.
people
So
that aren't
choose your hard.
Yeah. I
all
like
hard.
that. Yeah.
people that aren't familiar that are listening, to get your pro card, you have to compete and win your
category.
a certain amount of times before you get your pro card, right?
Yeah, well, that was my first show, so I won it
Wow.
there. So it just, depending on what they're looking for
Yeah.
and, what the girls you're in with that category,
Yeah.
they're going to basically pick the best one. And God forbid, I guess I was. That was it.
That's
So
amazing.
it was it.
Was
Yeah.
that your first show ever?
Yeah.
Damn, talk about like knocking the ball out of the park.
We just go big or go home.
So that was the first time you competed in the first.
anything.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It was one of those things too, you guys, where I had to step into fear. You
Yeah.
know, you have to, like my motto this year is like dance with fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to become someone that I've never been, so I have to do stuff that I've never done before.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was going to give me credibility with my, training business and who I am and what I like to represent and empowering other women. And I just felt like it was just all aligned.
Yeah.
And it was nervous. I got on that stage and I got off thinking I didn't do one damn thing I practiced.
Right,
and
right.
I won the thing. And I was like, oh, Lord, I looked like a goofball up there. I don't even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I suck. And I went out there for the calling and they called me and I was like, oh, my gosh, thank you, God.
Yeah, that's insane. So how long did it take? When did you make the decision, okay, I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete in this show. And then how long did it take for you to train and to get ready for that show?
Yeah, so I decided to do it when I got back from Nashville, which was last August. And it didn't take me until, I'd say December. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm financially ready. I've gotten my business back up. Mindset's there. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to sacrifice. I'm ready to put in the hard work and get the ball rolling. So I chose probably around Christmas time. And right after New Year's was when I went for it. And it took me, I guess you'd say 5 months because I competed in May. So from January to May, just was head down and went for it. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah. And then is it because, like you said, you wanted to kind of have that essentially, I guess, I don't want to say trophy, but kind of like credential to give you more credibility and because you have an online fitness business, right?
So of course that was part of it, but I think the biggest reason why was I wanted to break through of who I was. I wanted to overcome and really grow into this new version of myself and challenge myself. And I just felt like I was stagnant for a bit. And I had to do something bigger than myself. And I feel like I'm kind of doing that right now again. Little do you know, but you've been a huge inspiration through my journey.
Oh my goodness.
And it's been quite a while since I've even been, I would say even San Capistrano, this is where I kind of started my whole journey again with fitness. And so it's kind of weird to be right back here and then in front of someone who has put so much inspiration in my own life.
That's
and
awesome.
kept me going. And when I saw you guys and your podcast, you guys have no idea. I prayed about some certain things been going through my life. And
Wow.
I saw Emily, who I'm associated with Isogenics too. And I just
Okay.
felt it was all aligned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I have an opportunity. Let's reach out. What do I have to lose? And again, I'm dancing with fear. This is something I would never do,
Yeah.
and it's get out of my comfort zone. And here we are, And I felt like at that point in my life, going back to the WBFF show, I had to do something like that. And, I just danced with fear and
Yeah.
I put faith in front of me and God delivered.
I mean, first of all, thank you. That means
Yeah.
the world to me just because sometimes I forget, like just me putting stuff out there. I forget that people actually
Yeah.
follow it or see it. So thank you very
Goosebumps.
much.
You're so welcome.
And second, I love that you took the ball in your court and reached out because you have nothing to lose. I feel like that's the number one thing to do always because sometimes it's scary to make the call or send someone a DM or an email or whatever that may be because you're worried that either they're not going to respond or something is not going to happen. But even if that something does not happen, it doesn't matter because you're still in the same spot if you did nothing before.
Yeah.
So if you go ahead and you reach out and roll the dice, now you're sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And now we're face to face. And now
And honestly, it worked out perfectly because it just so happened. I think that I saw the DM like on the weekend, maybe even, or Friday.
Yeah, it was Friday. I was in bed.
Wow.
Like, just couldn't sleep. And I was,
Yeah, Friday.
yeah.
And I saw, because I go through every single request. I look at them and I either respond or I at least heart it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so that everybody
Acknowledge it.
knows that, yeah, because like this is a big deal. This podcast is a big deal. It's not just a podcast. This is a movement.
Right.
You know, and you fit the movement because we are in one sense recovery based and mental health based, but I don't know a human being that doesn't suffer from some type of mental health challenge.
100%.
It doesn't have to be a diagnosis, but a mental health challenge.
100%.
And we're really, really big on mindset here. We're really big on facing your fears. I would have never been sitting in this chair 2 years ago. I just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in the public eye. I didn't want to be out doing this. And I heard you ask a question when I was shuffling back and forth why this podcast exists. It exists because on September 11th of 2022, my 21-year-old daughter found her fiance dead from fentanyl. And I've owned drug and alcohol treatment centers for 20 plus years. I've worked in the industry for 22 years, and it hit my home. This fentanyl crisis hit my home, and I'm not going to be quiet about it anymore. You know, I'm going to be the voice for the people that have lost their lives and for the family members who are hurting so bad that they can't talk.
Oh, it can bring me tears. I'm so sorry for your loss, but thank you just for the courage you have in your heart to be that one to start the movement and to be that voice, because you don't realize how many souls that you really are impacting and are helping out there. Because you're right, you know, life is hard and life gets dirty, you know, and you have to have that mental strength and that barrier to push you through. And I think above all, I think it's God.
100%.
And you have to have that faith. Oh, I'm getting chills. And I just want to say thank you, because it's I'm telling you guys, when I saw a few of it, I just came across your page. I was in tears in bed after you guys said okay. I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't realize or didn't even know like why I even feel this, but I just know God's working through me. And that is why I'm feeling some kind of way, because it's larger than what I even know. But I do know that everybody has a story, and regardless of how big you think that story is, it's still your story, and it's going to impact another person's life out there. And I felt like it was just an opportunity for me to be around like-minded individuals that understand that mindset and then can even empower even more people out there. So
yeah, and we love empowering people, especially women, man. I love empowering women, and what's weird about us is like, so originally it was just the two of us, you know, these two.
We should go back to that, I think.
I don't think so. I think we'll do a poll.
Did I say that out loud?
We'll do
No polls.
What if we do?
I'll bend the boat here. Forget about it. Keep going, Chad. Sorry to interrupt you, buddy. What'd you say?
Two dorky older men.
Yeah.
But our following ended up being like 80% women.
Yeah.
And not because we're these like young studs anymore.
Strapping young studs.
It's because we're like vulnerable and real and have had some serious life experiences, and women feel safe. You know, we've had many women, and we do a Zoom meeting every Tuesday night for everybody. It's people in recovery, parents that have lost their loved ones, people that are suffering from mental health issues, people that are in pain, people that aren't sober yet, and like 90% of the Zoom shows up as
all women.
All women.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And then I joined the bunch.
Yeah.
And I think that's so, I love that you said the vulnerability part, because I think a lot of people have a hard time, myself included, that, you know, to be vulnerable.
For sure.
And the more you are, though, and the more your authenticism shows through, say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, because then you get to have people who can relate. And I think for women, you know, we want to be submissive to a man. And when you can find a man who's vulnerable and who is also tapping on those areas that you're hurting in, I think that's what gravitates, you know, a lot of women to feel hope and know that there are great men out there and all that. And then when you get the bombshell coming in and she's humble and, you know, funny and relatable too, like, it's just, you guys got
we
something
knew,
really
we
good.
knew when we met, before we even,
Before.
yeah, before
Way
we,
before.
They
before we
say
actually,
this, but I don't know.
We stalked her.
We'll see.
Yeah.
before we actually met her, we knew there was some kind of special connection. And then when I met her and Jonathan, her husband, within 5 minutes, I knew this was a life-changing event for both of us.
Yeah.
And it's been like 2 months, a little bit over 2. I was just counting it up.
That little?
It's
Seems
so
long.
little.
It was like July.
It seems longer.
July 27th or something.
Wow.
like that.
Seems like
It's super-
forever.
Did you
I know.
turn the
Oh,
AC? on?
wow.
I turned it off.
Why would you
I
do?
turned like
Never
2
ever
hours
do
ago by
that.
accident.
Well, usually it's like a refrigerator in here, so I'm like always cold.
And are you
But-
sweating right now?
No, I'm okay. But that's also piggybacking on what they were saying is I've always wanted to do something like this, but then I just didn't have the team around me that was had the same exact kind of mindset and drive to spread the awareness or be a voice. And then I completely agree with you. Like, God put these guys in my life, and then not only was it easy and same page, but then also my husband and them are like all 2 peas in a pod, which is something that is abnormal, but it just really aligned.
Right.
And I really feel like that's why the name of the podcast too, it is, yes, obviously we speak about addiction and recovery, and we have treatment centers. Like, we just opened up the first NEM recovery center in Laguna Beach, but it's about spreading the message of hope, because so many people out there are struggling. Yeah. Because I think also too, your mental health or your mindset is imperative for you to be successful. 100%. And now we live in an age of social media. So social media is already another beast, and there's so many pros, but there's also so many cons. There's so much, it's the accessibility to compare yourself to somebody that is literally in a whole nother state or
country
completely is so easy. And I'm really thankful that I didn't grow up in a social media era, because I don't know how I would have handled it in that aspect, because it's so easy to pick up your phone and scroll when you're either not busy or you're bored or you're waiting for something, and then immediately you can go down, a negative
Oh yeah.
That's coming from the girl that has 6.3 million followers on Instagram.
I know.
But that's all because of God, though. He put me in the right place at the right time, and going for something that I was not sure if I was ever going to get. And it's because I put myself out there, and lo and behold, I was able to get my dream job that then put me in front of millions of people, and then the reality show, and then being able to use something that I thought was my weakness and actually share it to the world. Which I used to always be in so much fear about and lived a double life about, because I didn't want anyone to know that I worked a 12-step program or was an addict or alcoholic, just because I had so much shame, and I didn't want to bring that shame to my family. And then I put all that aside and opened up about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's part of my story. And then all of a sudden, people started reaching out to me.
Say 10 times it grew, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And so now we're here.
I love that.
Doing this.
And I love how you said too, like, it's pros and cons to everything, right? But I feel like for instance with you, like, you had like you knew what you were doing with your social media. Like, you had a goal. I feel like people that just go on it just to go on it, you can get stuck in that rabbit hole. But, you know, you could look up motivational videos. You can look up to feed your mind.
Totally.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like Pinterest helped me half the time too, you know, like looking up certain things and like, you know, maybe books or like motivational people and, you know, YouTube. Man, that saved me, and I started tapping into like Les Brown and Steve Harvey and church.
Yep.
I love all those guys.
Yeah, you guys, I had him on full blast right now before. I'm like, Lord, speak to me, help me. I need confidence here.
Motiversity is one of my favorite YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Motiversity and Absolute Motivation. I listen to those at the gym. I no longer listen to music. Every once in a while, though, I got to throw on some like some like gangster
stuff.
rap. Like it's got to be like really good gangster rap.
Fueling you up.
Yeah,
you gotta get that good pump on before you start to switch over to Steve Harvey.
Otherwise, I mean, I love it though. Like Steve Harvey says some of the best stuff ever
because he keeps it real, you know. And again, you're relatable, and he does. I don't think it's all about the money and the fame or any of that. He loves to inspire people, you know. And I think that's like where we're here too. I'll share that same gift. Like I love to inspire people, and you know, it started at such a young age for me. And as the years of, you know, social media has helped me kind of gain that, you know, platform for myself too. And I don't know, I love to help other people and really impact them in a way that I struggled in certain areas and, you know, found the tools and areas that helped me to get out of it, you know, because I've been in very deep, dark spots myself too. And never really spoke about it as much, but, you know, more than a few years ago, Jacob, actually, you and I both know Jacob. He actually made my YouTube story with my dad and I, and from my little situation I kind of went through and all that. And I just always try to find a way, like, how can I give back? How can I help someone from what I've gone through to, like, maybe share it? And same thing, like, I've never really had a platform to really own my voice or to speak on that. And I guess that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to hit up is just to have the opportunity and do that. So
now that you're here, let's go into a little bit of that story.
That's exactly where. Hey,
wow.
We're pretty good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, because
I know if I was listening, I'm gonna be like, okay, girl, tell me what.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? What story?
I want to go straight to that YouTube story because I did watch it, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know, I feel like it would be good for you to come this week.
Thank you.
And
that's because your girl right here is here this week.
That is exactly why.
I don't like her.
It did.
So your dad.
So get into it.
Your dad was a professional soccer player?
Yeah. So my dad was a professional soccer player. He played on the Galaxy and the national team. He was the first American to actually play overseas in Europe in the, I'm going to totally screw this, but the Bungens League. But that's what it sounds like. That sounds right. Bungens League. But yeah, so my dad was my biggest inspiration. And again, it was just because I got to see how many kids' lives he impacted. Man, like I was the girl running to everyone like, all right, I got you. Like, you know, here, Dad, sign this. All right, now sign that. You know, and just, it was so cool to experience that. And I knew he was living in something bigger than himself that was helping so many other people doing what he loves to do. And soccer was a huge thing in my life. I grew up playing, and then my mom, you know, she had the whole horse life. So I had horses and soccer, and I loved both, but I knew soccer was going to take me further, and horses became like a hobby of mine. So I started at the age of 4 and played all the way up in college. I had big scholarships and offers, but the grades just weren't there. So I was like, all right, let's do a junior college. So I went to a junior college, and I was like, you know what, school's just not for me. Like, I just never liked it. I just wanted to play pro. You know, I played against, I was like, screw this. Like, I just want to do what I love to do. Yeah. Like, that's not school. Yeah. And so I played, so Alex Morgan played in Diamond Bar High School, and I'm from Walnut High School, so we were huge rivals. And I got to play against her one year. And I was like, man, if she can make it, I can do it too. Yeah. You know, and after my second season in college, I wanted to play on the national team. I was like, I'm just going to go out there. My dad did it. He just went out there, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I ended up getting in a car accident, and that basically changed my plans for soccer, and soccer was no longer in the picture anymore. And that was like right when Instagram was just coming up, and I had some people that got big off the Shred supplement.
Oh, okay.
All that was happening. So I'm sitting in bed after my recovery, and And I was in a wheelchair for about a month after that. And yeah, I just remember seeing everyone just come up, and I'm thinking like, man, like I had my whole life just stripped from me, you know, like soccer and all the way down to like my dog taken from me, you know, like everything I knew is no longer there. And I could think like, what in the world's going to happen from here, you know? And I just remember my grandma just telling me like, it could always be worse. And she'd always just remind me to be grateful. And I said, you're right. Like I could be dead. Like, you know, I fell asleep and I hit a pole going 70 miles per hour. And I learned that
that just gave me chills.
Sleeping and driving is just not the thing.
Yeah.
I did that once.
Yeah. And it's scary. You know, it wasn't like I just fell asleep. Like I was awake prior to even driving, but don't even remember. That's the crazy part. So it's like, if you're tired, do not even drive at all.
Wow.
But yeah, so I came out of that. And I just remember sharing my story, like being very positive, and I would get these messages of people just saying like how I'm inspiring them through what I just went through. And I fell in love with that. Yeah. That's when I knew like, okay, I have something here. And, as I'm talking, it's so funny, I'm playing with this ring, and this ring I have on my thumb, which is tatted on me, it says, if God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. And a girlfriend of mine that I played college soccer with, she gave that to me, and I remember just looking down at that, and that's what saved me. Like, okay, I'm going to come through with it. Like, I'm going to come out of this. And my biggest thing right now is I just want to know what's my purpose, and just go full ham on that and figure that out. And I remember going back to the spot that I crashed at, and a 4-year-old girl passed away. At the same pole that I hit, and it was just a year. And I was like, I got my car back, I'm driving again, life's starting to be normal, and I just broke down crying. And I'm like, there's just, why her and why not me kind of thing. And that was a huge turning point in my life where I wanted to become more closer with God and my faith and figure out like, what's my next step here? How can I utilize this in a positive way? Because I got two options here, and I can either look at it and dwell and be victim, or I can really use this as my power and use this is my story, and how can I move it up in a very inspirational way. And that's when I just started getting back into fitness. You know, gym was always like my second thing. I had a lot of people tell me I should do shows back then before my car accident. I'm like, I'm just in here because I want to be better for soccer and stronger. And yeah, so just went with it. Miguel, the CEO with Self-Made, reached out to me.
Shout out to Miguel.
Yeah, love Miguel. Yep. And he was like, hey, come to Self-Made. And I was like, ugh, I'm nervous. You know, that was a time when like all the people I knew with shreds and stuff were over by the Corona one. So a lot of intimidation. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to do it. If he hit me up, this is God's way of telling me. So started my personal training business and never looked back. And I've just been really trying to carve out the better version of myself through fitness, and using fitness as a platform to reach other people through really inspiring them and motivating them. And I just, like I said, this is my first time where I can actually be vulnerable to really share my story into deeper than what I've kind of already given out, you know, as far as just, you know, my dad being pro, me getting in a car accident, but there's a lot more that's gone into it, you know? Yeah. And that's when I hit up Jacob, and I was like, okay, like I saw, you know, Paige Hathaway was a huge inspiration. You were a huge inspiration at that time, like, you know, and really kept me going, like, all right, I'm going to mimic a lot of these girls. And Paige Hathaway was one of them. And I'd go to the gym, like, people mistaken like me for Paige. And I'm like, all right, I'm on the right path. Right, you know, I'm manifesting the right things. Yeah. And yeah, I got with Jacob, and I said, hey, like, I'd really like to create a YouTube channel. And the first thing I want to do is like share my story. And got super shredded for that, because I wanted a transition of basically like, hey, like this is where I was at, but now I'm like, you know, I'm working towards, and I'm back up on my feet better than stronger than I was before. And that was kind of the start of everything.
That's huge. I mean, just the fact that you said you were in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah, so I was in a wheelchair for about a month. I broke both my feet. They wanted to fuse it when I got in the car accident, but my dad thankfully called the doctor that he had when he was on the national team. And that doctor spoke to my surgeon, and they bumped me up to number 1 on the waiting list. Wow. But God was on my side and bumped me down number 2, and a lady flew in and needed surgery right away. So within that time gap, they were able to talk and piece my foot back together.
Which is incredible.
well, the first question I asked girlfriend was, can I still wear heels? I was
Oh
like,
my
you can take
goodness.
soccer
Yeah.
away from me, but I need to wear heels.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been quite a journey since then. And I felt lost for a while.
Oh, I bet.
For sure. Sometimes still do. And I think that's just part of the process, you know?
I think anybody would say that's normal. At least for me, definitely. You know, there's going to be days that, and I think that's also a misconception is I feel like people think that they'll see super successful people and think that they just like, damn,
Right.
I want to emulate them and I want to have what they have and think that their life is just like peachy keen when it's, no, they have normal setbacks and days of like the self-doubt or the lack of motivation
Right.
or all of the negative things that, you know, enter all of our brains. But they know how to push through.
For sure.
You know, and know how to continue on and to push through and continue their path and their journey and not just stay in that little negative
Bubble.
kind of bubble. Exactly.
And you even said it earlier, you know, when I shared you how you were inspirational to me, you said, hey, thank you, because I forget.
That's
like,
nice.
You know.
How do you feel?
Amazing.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had no
That's
idea.
the best.
And
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the best.
It's such a good feeling.
Good
It
for you.
is. It's incredible. And it is honestly what it is all about in the sense of being able to help somebody else whatever they're going through or, you know, sometimes you just need a little push and a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Of something to keep you keep on, whether it's, you know what, I am going to move my body for 30 minutes today.
Yeah.
Or I am going to go on that walk. Or I'm going to drink a gallon of water today. Or I'm going to try and eat a little bit better.
Or it's just simply, hey, I'm going to love myself today. You
That
know?
too.
I had to tell myself, you know what, it's okay to be sick. And it's okay that you don't go to the gym today.
That too.
But I have to tell you, man, I really love the beginning part of your story here because I wish that when I was younger that I knew all the stuff that you already know. Because
I always say that.
you're speaking how I speak as a wise older guy who has had a ton of life experience. You know, the internet didn't exist when I was young, and I was a brand new fitness trainer, and that was my first profession, was a fitness trainer. And then I relapsed, and I almost died in a car accident.
Wow.
And 5 days after that, my daughter was born.
Wow.
And I knew that when my daughter was born, that I was left here to help other people that suffer from the same thing that I suffer from.
Right.
Which is this thing between my head. I don't suffer from like drug addiction or alcoholism. I suffer from negative self-talk.
Wow. See, so do I.
Like, if you guys would have been in my head this weekend, you would have been like, I couldn't stand myself. I could not stand the guy that was talking to me this weekend. He was rough. He was negative. And like,
Because he knows you and he knows all your insecurities, all your faults, all your failures, all your weaknesses. So like my
and
voice
he
tries
sees
to
when I'm on the path to greatness,
take you down.
he wants to take me down.
You guys should have heard. If you were in my head this morning, oh, what are you going
Yep.
for with this? I'm
Yep.
like, the minute I even feel like I'm going to have a negative like thought, just on to the next one. Like kind of like almost got ADD, like you just push it out of the way. And it's a practice. It's almost a habit, you know? And I think a lot of it though too goes in your childhood and what people have said based off how they feel themselves, you know, all these things. And at one point you just have to be like, okay, I'm going to reinvent myself. And that kind of goes based back on the why I did my WBFF is I'm going to start something and I'm going to finish it. And I'm going to promise myself that I'm going to go 100% into it for me. Because for once, I really want to love myself 100%. And I want to feel like empowered, like liberated, that I did something that was larger than me. It was scary, but I did it. You know, like when was the last time that you ever like stepped into fear that you were just like sweating, just standing there, but you're still going to do it, you know, and just give yourself that like, I don't know, opportunity.
For sure.
And I think once you get a little bit of a feel for that, you want to continue doing it, you know, and kind of opens doors along the way.
That's it. That is the main key to success in life.
Yeah.
Is going after the things that you don't want to do the least. But what's weird about those things is you think about them the most.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So like I'm becoming obsessed with becoming a speaker, right?
Yeah.
And because we also have Tim Story, who's like coaching all three of us, who's an amazing motivational speaker.
All that money, we got fucking static.
I can hear all
that money, we got fucking static. All right, that's it. I'm about to throw these on the floor and just stomp. Yeah.
I think it's better now.
It is better now.
That's because he turned someone down.
So, anyways, the point is that like I have a huge fear of public speaking. But like I'm good at it when I do it.
Wow, I feel like I relate so much with you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like, and now like because like and then we're going to like this. And Emily was here, and she's like one of the top transformational speakers is what she calls her.
Female transformational.
Under 40.
Yeah.
Great.
Back.
With that static.
Easy there.
I can't hear anything.
It was fine until you touched something.
No, it's started making that I haven't touched.
Oh, he's got his hands up.
Yeah,
He's like, I swear, I
Yeah.
swear I'm not touching anything. It's not me.
yeah, she was with Isogenics, Emily, and I'm with Isogenics too, and so met some
Maybe
people.
it's me. Is it this?
No,
one?
I hear it too. But
I was gonna say I thought it was me because of the cord, so I was like trying not to touch it. But yeah, I love her. She just is real.
yeah, she's
So we're going down to the Aspire
Oh yeah,
tour in
That's
San
cool.
Diego on Thursday.
that'll be exciting.
So that's gonna be like exciting.
Yeah.
Gary V's gonna be
Yeah.
there. Stop looking at him. 'Cause
You
you're
said
really-
pause it.
No, I said let me pause so that way I can like actually figure out what it is.
Should we try to fix it or just let it go?
It's not there right now.
No, it's there for me.
It
A little
is.
bit
Yeah.
for me, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute.
Did you?
No, it's not. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Well, I was
We're back
worried
in
that you were
action.
gonna go black because you did that poll,
Oh, I did it like a poll.
and I think like most of the people picked black.
Really,
It's just my natural hair color, so I
Oh.
think that's why.
I recently gone back to the dark side. I used to be blonde for a while. I'm like, all right, I think it's gonna go back to what I was kind of born with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah,
On the
it-
brunette.
Same.
What's that?
I went dark too, actually.
What's that?
I went dark.
What's that?
That's funny.
That was
Yeah, the siren?
That was the
Sirens from outside.
That
Oh, it was outside. I thought
yeah.
it was like normally Michelangelo sometimes puts sounds in.
Little
Yeah,
sound.
no, it
I
wasn't.
was like, wait, what?
That one was.
But did you look at me because of the bald thing or the siren?
I looked at you for the siren, but I started
Okay.
laughing because I knew you thought I thought like about the
That's
hair,
it.
and I'm like,
That's exactly.
that's not what
I thought
it
she goes like this. She went like this. She went. And I was like, yeah, I don't have any hair.
Yeah.
I go back
No, you don't.
natural color.
Yeah.
Right.
Au naturel.
Wow.
oh, that was funny.
Getting back to you. So
Right. Yeah.
are
Getting
you
back to
still-
her. Let's go.
Are you still a trainer at Selfmade?
So I recently just left Selfmade. I am a trainer now at my coach's gym in Fontana called T4.
Okay.
Trying to really transition a lot more online, but you know, I'm trying to step out of all of that, to be honest with you. Still trying to figure that out, but I don't know. Like I was thinking today, like it's so crazy. I haven't been so excited for something like this. Like I feel like this is more of my niche as far as just life coaching or I don't know, speaking or something like that. I don't know how or where it's going to come from it, but I've been trying to create something where I could bring the two together. Because I feel like when you're physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually all aligned, like you're
Agreed.
winning in life, right? So
oh my God.
how can
I said
we-
it earlier today. Boom.
Yeah.
Same page, girl.
Yeah.
Literally mind, body, spirit, when they're all aligned and moving and shaking at the same time.
you're
then
at your
killing.
highest, you're feeling your best, you're living at your highest vibration, you know? So I really want to create something that brings all that together. And I feel like that's like more online basis just because I want to be able to like reach more audience and basically just bring like life coaching and training
Yeah.
together and
You
make
know,
it
you know
fun.
who does that she should hook up with? Is your buddy.
JW Fit.
Yeah, JW
Justin
Fit.
Wenzel?
Yeah, they do all online fitness
okay.
and mental health.
They just
love
they
that.
just signed
Flex Wheeler.
Flex Wheeler.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think they have
110 coaches.
110 coaches online.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Wow.
Yeah,
All of them are driving Benzos too.
they are all driving Benzes.
There you go.
Yeah,
Not that that's what
Looks
it's.
could be deceiving.
not-
Yeah.
So
not-
don't fall into that trap
Not.
either.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not going
like
to the coaching.
rinsing
Don't worry.
That's
no, I'm just saying where like I feel like especially the younger generation, well, not even younger. I've fallen in the trap too, where sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, and you might see people living like lavishly online,
and all of
it's
them
like-
cars are rented.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but they're like
Yes.
renting.
No, she's already made the leap to the online. She wants to go
I
online.
know, but I'm just saying.
So she's already on that side of the grass. She's watering it now.
No, I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
We're planting some more
Yeah.
seeds and watering,
Yeah.
fertilizing as we go.
Well, what I was thinking earlier as you were speaking, and it actually aligns with what you're saying is, social media can be so detrimental, but it can also be a place where people can go to learn how to become better people,
Yeah. I mean,
the best versions of themselves.
absolutely.
Most of the people, even in like your sector, like fitness, let's just call it the fitness modeling part, right? What are most of these girls doing to better society? To make a better place for people in this world. Most of them are just taking pictures, hoping to get enough followers to get some contracts, to
Right.
make some money for themselves. I don't see that in you.
Oh, thank you.
What I see is somebody who is looking to make the world a better place at the same time by through coaching and fitness.
Thank you. Kind of bring some tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like I think it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
Don't ask Shane. He's
Powerful.
not good at that.
it's
Don't know.
like when you
Just
come
don't know.
across like a really pretty, like Natalie, okay? She's gorgeous. She's successful. She has all this stuff going for her. But when you get to know who she is, it's more beautiful,
Yes.
and she has the strength, the courage, and all you guys do, but from a woman to a woman's, standpoint, I get girls all the time intimidated to talk to me, and I'm thinking, I'm the nicest, coolest person ever.
Yeah.
Love to joke, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
just you, but they look at you a certain way. And like, just like how you said earlier, you forget what you bring to the table or how people view you or see you or what you're impacting. And I do too. And like, I forget that. And I get in my head and that negative, talk starts happening. It's like, I'm by myself in this journey a lot of the times. And so, like I said, to come around like-minded individuals is so more powerful because it only allows you to keep going on
sure.
like where you're supposed to be going,
sure.
and I just want to be that girl that, beauty and, you got this, you got that, like I grew up with a professional Hall of Famer dad with soccer and, I grew up very well, but behind the scenes was pretty crazy too, that not a lot of people know except unless you knew me. And I want that story to be told. I want people to know that version of me. And a lot of that's going to expose people I love, family members, this, that, or whatever. But I want it to come from a place where I'm not doubting anybody. I'm not putting somebody down. I'm just speaking based off of my experience,
Yes.
what I went through. This is my story, and this is how I overcame it. And I am no different from you. And if you're going through a life situation that's maybe you can relate off mine and you can grasp something, then I did my job.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like aligning it. You guys, this is going to be so off topic, but I just thought about this right now. Have you guys ever heard of like salt therapy?
Salt?
No. You said salt. Yeah, salt.
Like the
It's like a
surgeon takes.
No, so these are like caves. You actually get to like breathe in there
okay,
and like,
yes.
kind of just
Yep.
salt and mineral so it
Where you
replenishes
like
your
sit
body.
in them and yeah.
Yeah, this is totally off topic, but I swear I have like a point to this. So I went to one of these and they were doing this like yoga thing and, I was just being open-minded
Yeah.
and just doing this sound bath and I don't know. At the end, this lady told me she saw this like white light aura around me and that this year I'm going to own my voice. And months later, I'm sitting here at a table, like speaking on this, something I've always wanted to do. And I just think it's so crazy how no matter what, if you feel like you're not on the right path or, you just feel just hopeless or anything, it's like, no, just don't give up. Just keep going and start messy. Be messy through the process, and allow fear. Once you feel that fear, dance with it, like just, all right, I know I'm coming next to something bigger than me. I know I'm in the right spot when I'm feeling some type of fear. Yeah. Because either the devil or something's going to want to knock you down or, drive you off that path, but you're in the right spot. And I just remember, I've always felt like, just remembered that, like no matter what, keep going, because if I completely quit, then I've lost 100%. But if I keep going, I got nothing to lose, but only a chance to win. For sure. And so, yeah, it's just.
And that's probably the part of you that's the athlete, and then growing up with such a high level professional athlete in your household, him being your dad, because I feel like that's an athlete's mentality too. Yeah. Is because you're going to have great games, you're going to have not so good games, you're going to play super well, you're going to lose, and what's the main theme to showing up is you keep going.
You just show up.
You show up, and you show up for yourself and your team. Yeah. And you have to push through, because the ultimate goal is to win. 100%. And that's life.
I love that.
Your friend always talks about that. The motivational speaker that you showed me his picture earlier, the podcast guy. He talks about a athlete's mindset versus a spectator's mindset.
Ooh, I like that. And you know what? For sure, that's what's like. That's my mental barrier. That's what's built me, like you have to be an athlete on and off the field. For sure. You have to show up in every angle of your life,
If you want
like
to
look at Kobe Bryant. You guys got Lakers all around here. You guys know exactly.
We have the Mamba mentality.
Yeah. I mean, the best one, especially currently, that I think is phenomenal is Deion Sanders.
Oh, I love him.
He's crushing.
I love what
prime time.
Yeah, baby.
I feel like even back in the day, before he even went pro, he had created like his own WWE character so that he could, because at the time corners didn't make millions of dollars in the NFL. So he created this persona, Primetime, to kind of draw in that audience, whether you loved him or hated him. And then it obviously drew in the sponsorships, and then, he created millions of dollars. But what he's doing for college football with the excitement and then the messaging that he's putting behind to like those kids is phenomenal. I think. And then what he's gone through in his life is huge as well. And so the number one thing is belief. You have to believe in yourself. Don't let anybody take that away from you. And a lot of times it's very easy, even for myself. I didn't believe in myself at an early age with soccer, which it was only my negative voice in my own head. But that self-belief, as annoying and cheesy as it sounds, is imperative for you to succeed, because you're the one that can control that. If you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to expect somebody else to believe in you?
Yeah. And a lot of people talk about self-belief, right? And like you got to, like even Les Brown, and he talks about that all the time, and like greatness is living within you. And that's something that's always kept me going too. But nobody talks about like how to start having self-belief, And I think for me, it was hard. Like I've always been like, hey, like I really want to believe in myself. I really want to love myself. I really want to have this confidence. Like you see these people on Instagram, they're flaunting all these things. How do I do it? And I just had to start with little things. And the first thing I had to do was take accountability.
100%.
I had to take 100% accountability into who and what and how I was showing up. Once I do that, then it's like, okay, now let's like break it down. Let's like challenge yourself. Let's start keeping promises and commitments. One thing is, if you write down some things, it feels so good to cross it off. But when you don't cross it off, it chips away from your self-worth. It doesn't even matter if it's saying doing laundry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be the dumbest little thing. And then the next thing's like, okay, cool. Now let's start breaking old habits. Like how do you just want to continue to strive in becoming the best version of yourself, and that's what I love what you guys stand for here is just of that, And I just think that's just something
that's how I completely agree with like how you build that like self-esteem essentially, and that self-confidence is doing those things. You set out to be
BFF.
I always get confused. I'm sorry. I always get them like.
It's really easy though because it's BFF, best friends forever.
Man. Come on,
you just add a W for a woman.
I know, but then in my head I have like the IF.
Eva.
I'm sorry. I have the other one.
Evolution
is upon us.
Yeah, it is. There we go.
They're ridiculous, but it's doing the things that you don't want to do and showing up for yourself. You set a goal for yourself and you completed it, and not only that, but you got your pro card. So it's like doing those little habits of what you set out for yourself and then actually completing them. That is what gives you self-esteem. I know for me, what gives me the most confidence is when I'm doing my program to the fullest. So it's like, you know, in Alcoholics Anonymous or in my sponsorship line, you know, we have certain things of like your prayers, your readings, your writing, me checking in with my sponsor, me going to the appropriate amount of meetings that I'm supposed to, and then me sponsoring other women.
I was gonna then showing up for someone else.
Exactly. So I just got a new sponsee this last week, and then just doing that program the way that I know that I'm supposed to, that's what gives me self-confidence. And that's what keeps me feeling the best. And then obviously all my other little things that I want to do to keep on that. But that's like my number one, where I have to make sure that that's like, I'm doing it.
It's part of your routine. Yeah.
And that builds, and that just continuously doing those things, which requires discipline.
Yes, a lot of it.
And that's really what it comes down to, is that it's easy for us to say, nah, maybe not today. Or it's like,
as soon as you do that,
Failure.
Yeah.
You've
which then you decrease any self-worth that you have, and then that's where the belief goes away.
Yep.
what we are really big on, like, discipline, but also like stacking wins, right?
Yeah.
If you have a specific time that you wake up in the morning, whatever it is, if when that alarm clock goes off, you get out of bed, you don't hit a snooze button, that's a win.
Yeah.
That right off the bat is your first win for the day. If you're, I'm a lot like Natalie, because I too am in recovery. And
So he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
that's fuck. And I'm up at 3 a.m. and
Which is crazy. I ain't up at 3 a.m.
I was gonna say
look,
that. I
this
gotta
isn't
give it
even
to you.
this isn't even a joke. I am up before she is in Texas, because she posts her morning prayer every morning.
At the same time.
I'm up. No, I'm already up.
You're like, I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the first people to heart it.
Yeah.
But I do my prayers and meditations, and I drink my coffee, and I want to get that stuff done in silence. And it's part of my routine, and it's part of my discipline. And then I go to the gym. I go up and shave first, either whatever I have to shave.
But see, everybody has a different little like thing. But those are things for Chad or myself that add to our self-esteem.
Yeah,
Or that
it's
add
adding
to it.
you're giving yourself that the fuel or the food that you need. Like, it's true. Like, I think a morning routine is so special and so important. For instance, I like to wake up, have my coffee. I don't touch my phone for at least 20 minutes. Just stay away from that thing, you know.
Smart.
The only time I do is when I bring it in for my devotions. I want to open my devotions up, let's get in, like, just pray, God, what do you got for me? Hey, this is how I'm feeling. Journal, write some things that are in gratitude, you know, give my dog some love, drink my coffee, and just be grateful that I woke up and I'm at where I'm at, you know? And I think, I still at this day, like, I battle with, like, self-doubt.
For sure.
And,
Because you're normal.
and I have self-sabotage, and that's a thing that I'm learning to break through and overcome. And I think a lot of people talk about, you know, recovery, and I'm a person in recovery and this and that, but I'm also a person in recovery too. But on the other side of, I don't like to use the word victim, but someone who's experienced someone very close to them with alcoholism.
Okay.
You know, and so I think the other
that's
side.
important. We need to dive into that, because I feel like that is a huge thing that I feel, and that's why our Recover Out Loud meetings are open to everyone, is exactly for what I think you're about to tap into. Because people that are dealing with people that struggle with addiction and alcoholism, they go through a lot themselves.
Absolutely.
So the addict and alcoholic puts the people in their lives that are around them that love them through hell, through the ringer.
Yep.
You know, that is one thing that I still have a little bit of
Guilt.
a little bit of guilt, you know, with my parents, because my parents are my heroes. They're like rock stars. They're literally like everything to me. And myself and my brothers, you know, we put them through a lot of stuff that they really should be divorced. They just celebrated their 50th year
Oh,
anniversary.
congratulations to them. That's beautiful.
It really is. And it's like the strength that they had to have as not only individuals, but as a couple to witness like their children going through this disease is indescribable, because they didn't have like a Recover Out Loud or like these other groups that are so out there, or blogs or things that they could either talk to somebody about it, because my family was very much, I'm Mexican Italian, so it was like, you don't put your shit out. Oh, okay. So you don't put your shit out on the street. So they were very much, you know, kept it amongst just our
3
our
Italian
family.
Shane. 3.
No, there's not. There's 3 Italians and a Jew.
I said there was 3 Italians.
No, I said there's not. There's 3 Italians and a Jew.
Oh, you're Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Everyone knows that Shane is the Jew.
I said, oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
You guys
I thought it was
too
funny.
I thought it was
Troll.
funny.
I thought it was fucking funny too. I want to ask
Guys,
a question.
we're
I want to
getting
ask
into
a
a
question.
serious
Oh, that's right. Continue.
conversation.
Sorry. Then I got a question.
We're in our feels here.
go.
Yes, and they
Let's
want to
go.
like throw it off.
Sorry.
But it's important because she's speaking on the other side of recovery as somebody that basically
Yes. We're here.
had.
We got the whole thing. You're going to repeat the thing for us.
Maybe whoever's listening, we're just gotta, you know,
Grandma.
refresh.
Yeah, I'm
That's
refreshing
where we're
it
at.
for everybody after.
Oh, this is like when I click the button when I don't want to hear the intro. I missed it. Damn it.
Like the 10 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Go.
No, but I'm asking her.
Oh,
Like,
fair enough.
she's
Oh,
had
yeah.
to go through
Yes. We're
that
here. Oh, yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, that was me. And I think, like, just to get back to you, like, you know, forgiveness is such a beautiful free gift that we have access to. And love is something that we need to remember to lead by love. And that is what I've always wanted to do, no matter what I was up against. And this is a huge touchy subject for me because my mom is my best friend. Ugh, it's going to get a little teary. But she suffered from alcoholism. And, you know, my dad being gone for so long, you know, when he played soccer and, you know, being professional out of the country, all that, my mom and she held it down. I mean, we were at Disneyland all the time when it wasn't $1,000 to go.
Right.
And we were doing horses and, you know, playing Mario Kart, whatever. She just kept it so fun. So as I got older and to see her struggle through alcoholism, it broke my heart. And, you know, to get back to you just, and I hope her too, like, I never want to ever make someone who's battling something to ever say, like, this is your fault and you feel shitty about it. It's just, no, like, I love you, I forgive you, and I'm always here for you no matter what. And everybody has demons that we're up against, but you're not going to do it alone. And that is just who I am, and I want to stand strong in that. But in the same time, I got to make sure that I'm whole before I come back to you in the sense. So it's been a lot of tug and pull, and hot and cold with our relationship through the time, and just me trying to figure it out. Also, like, you know, in the disease or in your phase of it, you know, you're not who you are. And I knew that. And I saw just the devil working through her. It was nuts. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I swear at one point our house was like haunted. And I just knew hurt people. And it killed me to see how much she was holding on to this hurt and beating herself up with it. You know, I don't believe, and this is just my belief or, you know, opinion or whatever, but I don't feel like you're an alcoholic. You know, I feel like there has to be something for you to pick up, something for you to cope with it. You know what I mean? I think that's the start of it all. I just, in my eyes or what my experience, I feel like pain is the root of it. And we want to escape that pain. And I feel like the first thing is we want to be happy. So what can we do? Smoke weed, do this, do that. You know, what can we do to kind of cope with it? I've done in my life. I still do sometimes. I'll smoke weed to get out of whatever I'm doing. And sometimes I'm doing it too much. I'm like, gosh, Ash, stop. You don't need this, you know, or anxiety or whatever. But your body, your mind's trying to tell you something. So to lean into it. And it's not always, it's scary to relive that pain. Like, even me talking about it, I'm reliving some pain. I'm kind of holding back a little bit. But it's healthy, though, too, to be able to express and share. That way you could either touch someone else's soul, but you're also healing yourself through the process of it all, you know?
For sure.
And even to this day, like, you know, my mom, I love her. She's a great person. She has a heart of gold. And I've seen her come out of some major stuff. And I've also seen her in some major fucking shit too, you know? And the craziest thing about it is God was always with me no matter what. And I remember praying for my mom's recovery. I remember praying so hard, and I do remember seeing my mom finally choose herself, because that's what you got to do. You got to choose yourself. You got to become selfish, and selfish is not a bad thing. Selfish is a beautiful thing. if you utilize it in that positive part, right? And I remember her choosing to be sober, and I was like, I'm there for you. She relapsed a few times. I got hurt through it, of course, but I just knew like she's got it, you know, and something was telling me to see like your prayers come alive is just something so special. And, you know, it's so crazy. I was listening to this, Steve Harvey saying that, you know, you can pray for something and God's going to box it up and ship it, but he's never going to tell you the delivery date. So you just really have to keep that faith. You got to be on Faith Avenue, he says, you know, and don't deviate from it. And I did. And through that time, I was hurting a lot. There's still, you know, a lot of verbal stuff that was said that messed with my beliefs, which no right or wrong. It just is. It's my journey, you know, and I wouldn't change it for the world because this is who I get to become through all of that.
That's how you have become stronger.
Right.
A stronger person.
I had to be, though, you know.
You did, yeah.
But I also chose to be. And that's
you have to choose to be. Some people can stay stuck in the victim mentality.
Right.
When life has beat them down. And many of these things are happen to us in our childhood.
Right.
And we're truly not at fault. I mean, you can probably even speak on that when we're talking about, you know, us doing the steps, right, and making amends to people, and they're asking you like, well, what was your part in it? But the part is that you no longer want to hold on to a resentment,
right?
Because when somebody hurts you and you hold on, forgiveness, you said, right?
Yeah, right.
If you hold on to that resentment, the only person you're hurting
is yourself.
Is yourself.
Yeah.
The best thing that any individual can do for themselves is to forgive others.
Absolutely.
I had to forgive somebody to be able to move on that molested me when I was a child, because I couldn't sit in this victim mode anymore and be in pain.
Right.
And have these thoughts of homicide and all these things, right? And like, it's so freeing to forgive somebody.
It is. And you know what? It takes a lot of pride to be put aside.
Oh, for sure.
And you have to also think, like, this goes back on being accountable, you know? I remember just a few years ago, I broke up with somebody who I thought I was going to marry, and turned out like, you know, he had a drinking issue. We fought a lot. It was toxic. I just felt like I was, okay, I hate to say this, but dating my mom.
Sure.
Not her best version,
right.
You know? And I had to take accountable of why I was in that position. You know, like walking in on him with another woman. And then, you know, a few days before that was, you know, just awful stuff. But I had to take accountability. And then I also had to figure out, okay, hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
And, you know, 2 weeks later, my mom's relapsing, and, you know, major stuff went down. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, you have to ask yourself, like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
You know, but if eventually I was like, okay, this is happening for me, not to me. You know, this is happening for me. So if I take accountability of why I'm here, then I'm in the first step of becoming that breakthrough of this old version of myself. And that's what I did. And that's when I came across Isogenics with my girlfriend Cameron. Bioforce, she was a huge mentor for me in that time, in my era and season. And I invested in myself, personal development, flew back and forth to Austin a lot. I started giving back to myself, you know, and giving myself grace too, of like why I'm here and it's okay and I'm in a healing, and just to fully embrace it. Like, it's gonna hurt. It's fucking gonna hurt. I'm gonna cry. It's, you know, we're there. You can't beat it. But let's keep pushing through all of it, and it's gonna get better each time. And as it did, and as I kept kind of going through that, and trust me, I was like a nun for 3 months, and then 3 months I was a crazy person going out partying.
Yeah.
6 months hit, and I'm like, all right, like, we got to do something major here. And that's when I'm like, I'm gonna invest in myself. Let's do this. Let's do something I've never done before to become someone I've never been, you know. And all these things just kind of kept piling up, and I just kept going and going and going. And if I never did all of those things, I wouldn't have been able to be talking the way I'm talking right now, you know. And that's something that I always try to keep remembering, like, this is happening for me, not to me. And that's getting out of that victim mind.
Yeah.
Which I think is super powerful and really important for people that are listening, especially if they are in a relationship or are a parent or a brother or sister.
Absolutely.
That is basically, they're the ones dealing kind of in the sense of the aftermath of the addict or the alcoholic, because it is very easy for you to sit there and blame everything on your mom. And to blame all your poor choices and why you feel the way you feel because of her. Right? Because it's easy to do that, because rightfully so in some situations or some cases.
Could be true.
Right.
Right.
And you can tell yourself that, which I'm sure that there is moments of that, but that's going to do no benefit to you or your life ahead.
Person. Exactly. And I feel like I love how you said that, because if you don't choose you and really truly believe that there's a better life to live other than the way you're living right now, nothing's going to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. It's that simple. And just like we go back, choose your hard. It's going to be hard to face certain things, and it's going to be hard to face certain things, but it's either which route you're going to go, the way it's going to benefit you and help you and heal you, or you're going to stay remaining in pain and working out of pain.
For sure.
You know?
Do you like that some of her quotes are direct quotes from our program?
Yeah. I love it.
Like,
it's amazing, because they're so true and they're so prevalent, and it's
anybody, to everybody,
to everyone.
I'm gonna give you one.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard this one, but it's one of my favorite. It's gonna be the second time I've said it today.
Yeah.
When the pain of remaining the same outweighs the fear of change, then we will change.
I love that, and I have heard that before. It's so true.
It is.
And that many of us are blessed with a cursed with a high tolerance for emotional pain.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I mean, I liked what you were saying, because like she could think those things. Totally. Or right? What's the or?
Or I mean, I look at you as somebody that, because I've seen this a lot with either sponsees or people that are in the program, or even just friends, of falling into the trap of you were in a relationship, and in a sense you were kind of dating a little bit of your mom, right?
Yeah.
But that's also a sign of, because it's kind of familiar, because you're used to kind of that behavior,
or that
so it's
pain.
like a weird like closeness, yet it gives you this like love that you kind of are familiar,
you're searching for,
right,
almost, but that you're familiar with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which is totally unhealthy. And for you to pinpoint that and get out of that relationship is huge, because what I've seen a lot of times is people will continue the cycle of dating the wrong person and continuing that in a sense
Cycle.
Toxic abuse.
Yeah, and it's true. And you know who told me this was my mom. She told me, you need to break the generational curse. And I told her, okay, I promise you I will. And that is why I've always done and tried my best to pour love into her and encouragement and all that. And times that I've had to kind of save myself, I've had to push back. But this year has been probably the hardest year, last few years. Just with her, you know, relapsing back and forth. And then I have my sister who there's mental health and domestic violence with a man that she was even, you know, dating. So I was kind of getting battled at like two ends, you know, and I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of like, I think I've always kind of had this at like a very young age of trying to save, you know, my parents got divorced. I've protected my sister, you know, protecting my mom, and like, you know, it's always been kind of that thing. So as times got older, as I've gotten older and times have gone on, I've almost felt like I've had to be my own therapist, you know, or kind of speak to myself through this logically. And I'm telling you, I've had an abusive relationship. I've had, you know, someone who, you know, drank a lot, you know, I've had a lot of toxicity because I was around a lot of toxicity. And I had to figure out, like, I don't want to live like this anymore. Yeah. How can I get out of it? There has to be a better way. And it was just the journey. I called it my breakthrough year. And that was literally when you just have to choose yourself. And I told my sister, I said, until you choose you, anything and everything I've seen people say to you or anything like that, it won't matter. You're going to have to want it, no matter what. You're going to have to want it.
I have to say, man, people, and I don't know if your sister's like into the gym and stuff like you are, but like, man, the gym.
It saved me.
Mm-hmm.
The gym is that thing that we get to do that puts ourselves first.
I love how you said we get to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We get to.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that don't.
I wanted to ask you a question, because as I was sitting here thinking, I was thinking about, you DMing us, and then I was thinking about you talking about getting ready to come here. When you were getting ready earlier today, was there things? Let's go back to that when you were getting ready, and you're like, okay, I'm about to get in the car. I'm heading out. What kind of stuff were you thinking about that you wanted to say, that you wanted our listeners to hear and to know about you? Because sometimes and I only ask this question because sometimes like I have all this stuff I want to say, and then I go sit down and I don't say any of it.
So as I was getting ready, first I was listening to worship music. Then I switched to country. Then I'm like, I got to feed my mind with like some Steve Harvey or Les Brown. Help me, because as they're talking, it's going to help my mind create, right? I think the one thing that sat with me is no matter your circumstance that you're going through, it could always be worse. Always. To always remain grateful for everything that you have, whether that's just waking up. You have an opportunity every time you open your eyes to make your life different. And that no matter the circumstance that you're in, you get to have the opportunity to change it. And there are people out there who are willing to love on you, support you, and walk with you. But you have everything inside of you that it takes. You have greatness living inside of you.
That's a real. That was real.
Yeah, that was. And that's phenomenal and spot on. Literally.
Glad I asked that question.
I'm glad too. And I was
Fucking
like,
crushed it.
before I was like sweating.
For sure.
Shane, did she crush that?
It was beautiful.
That's
Thank
a reel.
you so much.
Yeah, it's a
I did
45-second reel. It's
That's
sick.
a 45
Sick.
second reel.
That could be the one.
go viral.
That could be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
As
like
long
you
as we're
ever
helping
like
other people.
No, for sure. And I think why I really appreciate your vulnerability, you opening up and you sharing some things that you have not yet shared to or on your platform is your perspective on the other end of, say, obviously you're amongst alcoholics and addicts, right? So I always appreciate somebody that has been on the other end of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's incredible about listening to you and hearing you, because you are giving those people that are struggling hope into what to do next, but it really ultimately comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
You made a decision yourself to like, hey, I need to make a change here. Like, I'm repeating certain cycles. I'm going into relationships that I shouldn't be going into. What is going on with me? I need to start looking at myself and then flipping the switch and making that change. And that's always hard.
Yeah.
Always looking at yourself in the mirror and figuring it out, what it is that I'm doing continuously that is giving me these results is not working.
Right. And I also think too, is choosing to forgive yourself is the hardest thing.
Sure.
And surrendering and asking for forgiveness is very powerful. And like I said, just knowing that you're worthy. My biggest thing was my self-worth. To this day, I struggle with it. And I don't really talk about this stuff on my platform because I don't know how. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to start. What do I do? I'm over here saying, start messy. Struggling with it, totally. So it's
I think that you should become very vulnerable on your platform. I think you should just get out there and just say what you said.
It's so much harder then, though. Like, I get it, because I feel like I do the same. I
also want to
I'm
offer.
crying all over our fucking platform.
But you also have like something to offer. You're doing podcasts. You're able to do in a routine. Like, I want to be like, I can talk about this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Like, this excites me. You'd think like, oh, I wake up wanting excited to go to the gym, and train my girls. The only reason I'm excited is because I get to see my girls.
Sure.
Like, I love them, but I don't love it. Like, it's really not a thing that I'm fully in love. And I think that's why I was like, I have something here, you know, like just like Steve Harvey said too. And I keep saying just because I was really fresh in my mind, I was just listening to him, but he knew he had something in comedy and he never allowed anybody to break that. And I, for once, like feel like this is it. Like I was good at soccer. Well, if you want
me to tell you what it is, you're a speaker.
Thank you.
Like literally, like you can get your purpose is to get up on stages and speak to people.
I've had someone tell me that before.
And you know, and I say that because there's 3 other people sitting in this room with a gift.
Absolutely.
And we have a 4th person that just left this room a little while ago who is honing our skills to. She does it already. You know,
I mean, I'm right there with you though. I struggle too with the same like, it's hard to be vulnerable on your platform. It's difficult of like, hey guys, hi. You know, like where do you start? Where do you begin?
Today, you know.
That's why I'm like really grateful and fortunate, even though I like to bullshit with these guys a lot and give them shit. But doing this, being a part of this podcast, being a part of the recovery centers has lit up my soul.
And it's like, I feel that because that's something that I just now realize, like, I want to help people get in my old mindset and bring them out, you know, and be like, you are worthy of the life you really want. It's right in front of you. Just start creating it, start doing actionable steps.
I think that, everybody's purpose in life in general is the same. Our purpose in life is to help other individuals that suffer from the same thing that we all suffer from. And everybody in the world suffers from the same thing that we suffer from.
It's like same but different.
It doesn't matter. It just like the pain that we all suffer from, pain, trauma, negative self-talk. It manifests itself in different ways. And I got this from Emily and re-listening to Emily's podcast. She talks about it because you and her were talking, and she started talking about how, in some people it might be alcoholism, but in other people it might be a more subtle thing that doesn't really like show up, that the world doesn't like Natalie and I go get drunk or
I see what you're
I'm
saying.
meth. The fucking world's gonna know that there's something wrong with us immediately.
But if someone walks
if somebody walks in and they have a
self-doubt
a mild eating disorder something like that, or what's something else that it manifests in, Shane?
I'm really not paying attention, to be honest with you. I'm joking. I'm here, bro.
Oh my God.
You like that?
No.
I'm right here. I was bugging you.
Terrible.
Yeah. So I was thinking more, manifestation and just small things, developing a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, negative self-talk.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
That's everyone.
It's a nightmare.
Ruin people.
I would honestly say self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Is like, I would say, the big umbrella it falls into. Sometimes you don't even know that you're self-sabotaging.
No, you do. You do. Self-sabotage is a big one. Something else, self-doubt and something. But self-sabotage, that's an actual act.
Okay,
but you could be doing that.
I was doing it based off, like, for an example. This was probably like maybe 3 weeks ago, self-sabotaging my relationship.
Yes.
I'm with a great guy. I didn't know that. I was like,
I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah, but I didn't know in the moment. I was just in the moment arguing with him over how I felt or this or that, until like I took a step back. I'm like, I'm acting crazy. This is me. This isn't even him. This is me for once.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm sabotaging something good because I'm scared of it turning what I'm used to. But I'm not allowing myself just to be and for what it is.
So and some people subconsciously self-sabotage.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Until you've done work on yourself.
Yes. Right. Which you clearly have, because you were able to acknowledge that you were self-sabotaging your current relationship.
Right.
That only comes from you taking, or an individual taking accountability and doing the self-inner work. Because if you don't do that, you are not going to be able to acknowledge or see those types of things or that behavior actually happening.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to say this and I think that Shane can like relate to this, because like we have a lot of life experience, man, and like the more it doesn't get easier it does not get easier the more successful you become. I have self-doubt every single day. I run very large companies, and it is scary as fuck sometimes. I have 150 employees plus their families.
Yeah.
250 clients. And I'm like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, God, you really think that I'm the guy that can handle all this? Because like, do you remember, do you know the guy that, how weak I really am? But then I have people around me that, and I'm not afraid to say these things, right? I'm not afraid to say that because people around me will say, yeah, God knows how weak you are, but he knows how much you rely on him for your strength.
I love that.
And that shit's powerful, man.
Super.
You know, like I'm like, my prayers in the morning, they're like, I pray for myself and for strength and wisdom and all this stuff. And then I start praying for like, my family, my clients, my staff, my friends and loved ones. And then I start giving all that shit to God, and I start giving my businesses to God. I'm like, I give, like we're big on veterans, and if our veteran census is low, I'm like, I'm not like, God, can you change it? Can you please open up the floodgates? Sometimes I am, but usually I'm like, I'm gonna give it to you, God, to do with what you please, because whatever it is, whatever you have for me, the plan, it's always better.
Always
Bigger and better. And
it's always
so
bigger
unexpected
and
from
better
what we
than
would
I could
thought.
ever imagine. But like, it is hard.
it is.
Isn't it, Shane?
It's really difficult.
It's super difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you overcome that self-doubt, though, when you're going through that kind of scarcity mindset? You just pray,
That guy up there.
and that turns it all around. Huh?
I just start giving it to him. I'm like, there's days when I'm like, I can't handle it. Like I can't handle it sometimes. And when the part that creeps in the most for me is like, you could just quit right now. Because like I could just quit right now.
It's called retirement. It's not quitting. It's called retirement, first of all. Okay? Let's just call
it's
it what it
quitting.
is.
But you guys like,
He's too young.
And the self-doubt is a little
No.
different, I think, because you're more in it's a different kind of a thing. You have responsibilities with family members and things like that. So it's a burden, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be in that position. I guess the self-doubt comes from somewhere, just like hers. I mean, I'm assuming your father traveled a lot of time. I mean, professional athlete, they have a certain lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Typically, it's not a faithful lifestyle. Typically, it's one filled with abuse, neglect on the family members. Most of the time.
Yeah, because it's selfish. Because
It-
they're
yeah,
the
because-
becoming the
exactly.
best
Well, they
they
have
can
to
do.
be.
Yeah,
They have to be to
So
be
you
your
gotta
best.
be a
it's the
certain
same
level.
it's
You gotta
it's the
be,
same thing with like my dad.
Yeah.
My dad's a famous doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Gone all the time.
Gone all
Gone all
Yeah.
the time.
All the
All the time.
Same with my grandfather, my
Yeah.
mom's dad. He was a business guy, and we lost everything, man. We went. That was the beauty of it. I'm not gonna lie. We went flat broke to not even know how I was gonna get to school, which I didn't really care because I hated school.
Yeah.
To we were doing great.
Yeah.
So I got to really experience both sides, and then also my dad being a Hall of Famer, and I love that because my grandma always told me it doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you got your stuff, you're good. And really help humble me, but also experience like money's not everything, but when you go for something larger than yourself, everything else will just be you'll be okay. I just want to wake up doing what I love every day.
You know what we call it
That's it.
around here? You want to tell her?
No, you go ahead.
Why?
Go ahead. Take it.
We call that your alignment to your assignment.
I like that.
Shout out to Tim's story.
Just trying to take credit
He's
for
got
that
some
one.
really good
He
shit,
does. He
man.
has some good nuggets.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
they
just
are.
gonna say little
I
nugget.
love that one.
Yeah.
Alignment to your assignment, because
like
it's like
that
that. It's like in her and I in our program, we call that living in God's will.
Yeah.
Right? It's a step.
Yeah.
It's actually the third step.
That's because we addicts, alcoholics, like want to
Run
take
the
control
show.
and run the show. And when I'm running the
Wild.
show, I run shit into the ground.
Yeah.
I really do.
My mom used to tell me the same thing, and I could see it. I'm like, yeah, you do like to be in control, but sometimes you got to step down.
Yeah. And then it's
I put me in control, and I'm running that bus as fast.
Yes.
Wheels are, there's no ramp.
My
We're
way,
on
the
wheels.
highway.
Woo, woo, and I'm
Yeah.
still going, and then I'm gonna run it right smack into the wall.
We ain't even looking
And then
where we're
bam,
going at this point.
once that happens, I'm back working for the CIA.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Back
she doesn't
living
know
in
that I
a-
used to work for the CIA.
No, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
it's
time.
not real. It's called fantasy land.
Darn it.
Come on,
Gullible over here.
Is it him
meth
and
induced
his
psychosis.
Like,
Huh?
Not
Shoulda
good.
known.
Around day 7, I'm jumping into my iPhone.
Run.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I got to give you guys props, though, on the whole 12 steps. I've seen my mom go through it more times than, just once. And, man, it's really awesome to see each version of her evolve larger and better, and to love yourself. And I'm like, man, that's all I want. I just want you to be happy. I want you to love you because you're amazing. You're here for a reason. Like everything I've been telling myself, I'm trying to preach to her and get back to her. And then my sister, too. And, man, like I said, this year has been, and even through my prep, talk about being selfish. I had to be selfish even through the times I've seen family members just hurting so bad. But I knew there wasn't anything I could possibly do. It was almost like I'm seeing someone I love so much drown, but I can't save them. I can't. And I knew that. And I would just many nights cry myself to sleep and just pray and be on my knees as I'm also trying to prep and keep my own shit together and choose myself for once, and I just was like, there's gonna be a breakthrough. And lo and behold, she's at a sober house. She's doing amazing. I feel like she's night and day different, and it's scary. Like my whole thing is I want to talk to women who have been abused mentally, physically, and like verbally, and I feel like
We need to have her come back on and be one of the guest speakers on the Recover Out Loud Zoom meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep, because
For sure.
her side of the story is really powerful too, for people
It is.
to hear, because
both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
I agree.
It's also important for like you yourself setting your own personal boundaries with what is okay, because I think a lot of times people want to save the addict or the alcoholic, and you cannot. They have to save themselves. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
I say that all the time.
It's the
it's the ultimate truth,
It
fact,
is.
and you have to know that it is okay.
Yes.
What is to be will
And it's
be.
not on you. It is not on
and
you.
it's not your fault.
No.
Kevin Gates says the best thing. I love you, but I have to release you with love.
For sure.
And that stuck with me. And I had to say that to my own baby sister. I had to say that to my mom. And like to be in that and to stand in that
Good for you.
is hard. It's so hard. I mean, because they're on their last strength, and they can either literally take their life or they're gonna grasp onto God. And I would just say, God, please, this is where your work can work. And lo and behold, like I felt like if we kept being there, we're enabling it.
100%.
Because we're allowing a certain behavior to still be there, not knowing. But you have to literally remove yourself and just allow them to hit rock bottom and say this, because we've all done it more times than once. But sometimes it has to be that one life-changing one.
No, it does. It's super important, because we addicts and alcoholics are super good at getting what we want and being able to manipulate whatever situation or whatever individual into giving us whatever that may be. And that's not fair to their loved one.
But imagine you bring that mindset into business. Like,
Oh,
shoot,
yeah,
you better
motherfucker.
mentor me.
No, for sure.
Like, you guys know what you want. You get what you want. You know what I mean? It
Right.
happens.
We do.
It
We
is
actually
true.
do.
Yeah,
And I love it,
that's
though,
what my husband always says, like, I'm a tornado. So he tries to steer the tornado into the best positive way.
Oh,
And then he unleashes me.
And then
Because
just let you run, let you go.
let me
I love
go.
that.
Or the tornado can come up here and destroy the entire city, and I'm taking out power lines and
And I'm pushing buttons.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of y'all.
Yeah.
One button.
I'll
We
burn
push-
the whole thing down.
That's me.
I'll burn it down right fucking now.
Yeah.
I'll show
Tell me
them.
when, tell
I'll
me.
show everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like here's the thing. This is like facts about me. Is that
Are you reading?
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm about to read something that she
Oh, okay.
wrote. I will burn. Oh, fuck it. I'm just going to read what she wrote.
All right, let's go.
This is way better anyways. So this is what caught my attention. You wrote, my goal is to reach 1 million women in the world, empowering them to become the best version of themselves, no matter the circumstances, that there is hope and a way out. Through faith and love and leadership, I believe it's my calling. That's what she wrote. And that's the reason why I wrote her back. Because
See?
because we
And that's you taking a chance on your platform and putting out your message that was in your heart, is because he got to see something like that, and then now you're here today sharing your experience, strength, and hope.
Meeting
with
evil.
because
Yeah.
because if you know, Natalie and Shane both know that, like, I won't stop. Like, I have a mission. I won't stop until 300 million people are listening to us, you know, which is basically the population of the United States.
Yeah.
I want them to know our voices. I want them to hear the message that we're putting out there. I want people to stand beside us to create change.
Movement.
It's a movement.
Yeah.
Not, you know, it's like, could you imagine if I have 30 million people who are willing to drive, fly, take a boat, and stand out in front of Washington, D.C., in front of the Capitol, and like stand beside us and are
can't.
hey, guys, what are you guys really going to do about this fentanyl crisis? Because we could actually destroy the fentanyl crisis in one day with probably a couple of
Snipers,
yeah, basically.
basically.
I mean, I was going to say, like,
Oh, and you worked for CIA, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Call in the fucking troops, bro.
Yeah.
Make the call.
Come
Let's
on,
go.
push that button.
Jump on in.
the problem is that me
Might
working,
not see you in 6 months.
me working for the CIA means
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of methamphetamine,
Yeah.
and I'm not willing to
Yeah.
do
No.
that anymore.
No.
Because everything that we are building would be lost.
But you know, to look on the positive side, because we always want to look at the positive. Every negative always has a positive to it. And, you know, you've been there, done that. You know, you can go to your grave saying, well, I've experienced this, and this is what now I'm doing. You know, you can see that transparency of just, you know, where it used to be and that growth. And that's where we really have to remind ourselves to get back to who we are and, like, give that pat on the back and remain just loving ourselves through the process of it, you know? And I feel like that's just so important to everybody as a reminder to just continue to love yourself even when you're at your lowest. And when you're at your lowest is probably the most beautiful and precious time, because when you're at the lowest point, you're now gaining all of the tools that you need for this other level of your life that you're about to enter, if you choose to be open-minded to the lesson and the vulnerability and surrendering and just the pain and really growing through that season, you know? And I feel like that was a really high point for me, is I knew I'm going to hurt. This hurts. You know, I'm going through a lot right now. I can't get away from pain. This fucking hurts. I'm crying. But it's happening for me again. So what do I need to learn through this process? And who do I have to be in order to really grasp this whole part and journey? That way I could then give back and help other people, or just be a better person moving forward.
The fact that you have that knowledge or wherewithal is huge, because never once when I was at my lowest did I feel like that, because I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was just stuck in my dark hole and was thinking my life was over, or I wanted to take my own life,
Right.
and not seeing the bright light. But now that I have come out of the darkness, looking back, I'm so appreciative for all the dark moments.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's like super important, because it's given me my life experience. It's given me my own personal journey, my own personal story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to see that when you're stuck in that dark place.
You almost feel like there's just no way out.
Right.
Like, okay, we've been here before, but this is a little worse. But is it really going to happen? Like,
Right. You
that
think that-
negative talk,
yes.
really starts to creep in, but it's because you're at your most vulnerable part. So again, it's like you got choose your hard.
Yep. And
You
it's
know?
like literally
Like-
another cliche, what we say is like one day at a time.
Yeah.
Putting one foot in front of the other.
Sometimes just 1 minute, 1
Yep.
hour. Like, if you want to just get in the best shape possible, cool. But if you got to break a lot of habits between that, well, let's just first start off with like
Yep.
a 10-minute walk, you know, every day, or like
Something
something small.
Yes.
You know, and that's
Yeah,
a
you don't wanna
win, just like
jump-
you said.
You don't wanna,
No.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
you want to
Small,
capitalize all the
attainable.
small
Like-
wins. Like,
Yes.
write down all your wins of like the week,
Don't
the day,
have
and the
one
month.
bag of chips that you normally have.
No, it's
Just
literally
something,
totally
little
it's literally
things.
small attainable goals that you
Mm-hmm.
know that you can actually attain. Because once you start attaining those little ones, then you expand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you
don't
then
want to
you
go
get big-
straight to David
No.
Goggins.
No.
You don't.
Not
Yeah.
if you- not-
You don't wanna
not
go
if you've been sick.
3:00 in the morning over here.
Yeah.
You don't want to go straight to David Goggins.
Unless you do. Some
mean,
do.
if you
If
can.
you can,
you
go.
can,
We're not
dude,
saying don't
go.
do that.
If
Take
you
a big
can.
Yeah,
step.
Yes.
but
absolutely.
It's still
Yes.
a win. A win's the win. A
Yes.
big one, a little one. I mean, look at.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
I mean, I
love how
go
you
David
said that.
Goggins, and and I'm out at the gym.
Yeah,
for
well, that's
3
what
weeks.
we're saying. Yeah,
But if you feel like you can't wake
we're
up
a little
3:00 in
older,
the morning
bro.
running like 5 miles and, you know,
5 miles.
well, I don't know.
Jesus,
David
that's a
Goggins,
lot.
He does
He does
pretty crazy
50.
stuff,
Did-
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
No, he
Way
did the
more than
Moab
5.
240.
Yeah.
he did the
40.
240.
Like, come on.
He's another level.
Yeah.
Like a 48-hour run.
Yeah.
too,
Or
I think.
Cameron Haynes, I mean, he was doing a full-time job, shooting his bow, running a marathon a day. Savage.
A marathon?
Yes.
How old is he? Because see, here's the problem.
In his 50s.
Mine. What?
Yeah, he's like
How
56
do these
or
motherfuckers still
55.
have knees?
Training, bro. It's years of training.
Years. He's been
How do they
doing
have
this since-
knees?
Oh, knees. Yeah,
don't have
lucky.
knees.
Just lucky. Good shoes.
Lucky.
Good shoes.
Good
I,
shoes.
The
I,
Hoka
you
one?
know what I say? I say it's literally consistency. He'd been
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
He started this because he fell in love with bow hunting, and then
Looked at you
the
again, too.
ambulance. That's pretty loud.
Serious.
Keep going.
Wow. And so he started in his like early 20s, this like his method.
Yeah.
But for anybody that has like an excuse of like either why they don't do certain things in their life or why they don't work out or this, that, or the other, because it's very easy to say, I'm too busy, or I this and this and this and that. He's a perfect example of somebody that
Makes
found
time.
his passion, but then he also worked literally a 9-to-5 job, married, family,
Wow.
kids, and ran his marathon a day. So because he was training, for the
Yeah.
season, is incredible. But I
That
think
is.
it's his knees and everything. I think it's because like he started so young and then has never stopped.
Good
Yeah.
recovery.
Probably he's got to wear good shoes too. Though.
Oh, fuck. For
He
sure.
does.
Like he's
Wonder-
found his
I wonder what
shoes.
kind of shoes
Yeah.
he
I know,
does.
I
You
wanna know
actually
shoes 'cause
I
plus
already
Good
know.
recovery.
Like
Good,
I've got some New Balance.
Ooh.
Yeah.
God damn, they're ugly.
No,
Yeah,
I
they are
got
ugly.
I got some bad ankles. I need to know what shoes he's wearing.
he just launched his own shoe.
Shoe?
It's like Speed something. I don't know. It just dropped.
I was never really into running. I was into bodybuilding. When I got into fitness, it was like bodybuilding was the shit.
Yeah.
Right? It was 1996 when I got my first membership to Family Fitness.
I was 4 years old.
Still,
She was 4.
Yeah.
I was
I was
22.
just
You were
starting my
22.
journey.
Jesus.
22.
She's 4.
That was 1996. I was.
I was in some ASO
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah. You're like,
Little
I was
bows in
just
my hair,
getting
wearing
I mean,
those
shit,
orange fields.
Yeah,
Or
I
slices.
basically
Yeah.
already had a kid.
Yeah.
My stepdaughter's
I love that.
29. Just
Oh, so we're
turned
same
29.
age. Well, I'm 31.
Yeah.
I got a 32-year-old.
You guys look great.
God,
Yeah.
help me.
They do.
In your prime time.
Mm-hmm.
Deion
So-
Sanders would be so proud.
So
Prime time, baby.
Yeah.
when it comes to, which I'm okay with this life transition because I still consider myself pretty active and pretty active. It's a
Peaking.
little-
You're still
it's
peaking.
It's a little bit hard to get out of bed and do certain things, and I can't
Just
get
go.
down on
No,
my
you
knees.
do. You
But
just do it slower.
I do.
That's it.
But the point is that I'm at my peak performance in my like business life, and it's just starting. So like I still have years, decades before that ends. Which at that point, like I think about the last 20 years of my life, where I started, which was with nothing. I had nothing. negative 500 in the bank account because I stuck one of those envelopes in, pretended like there was money in
The
it,
good old days.
pulled the cash out.
Good
yeah,
times, yeah.
back when you could
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
not
That's
anymore.
crazy.
That is.
And
No charges too.
and to where I am today. It blows my mind. And that wasn't even me at my peak. So now I'm at my peak. What's the next 20 years going to look like? That's what I get excited
Unstoppable.
for.
Yeah.
And I don't get excited about the end result. I'm like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like just this podcast sitting here.
Yeah.
You know, Ed Millay always talks about the power of one more.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that this podcast, that reel that you just went, that question that I asked you and the answer that you gave, how do I know, how do I not know, or how do I know that that's not going to be the one thing that blows the Hopeaholics up? I have no idea
Just
what it's
faith.
going to be.
That's the cool
So I
part.
just keep showing up and I
Yeah.
keep doing one more.
Yeah. I love that.
Like when you all started working out, I mean, both of you are like childlike athletes. So, but still, you go to the gym and you start out on a quest and you go sit down on the bench press. Like for guys, that's like the thing. Right? How much can you bench press? And you start off and you can bench press the bar, you know? And then eventually, like your goal is you want to be able to get the 45s up.
Sure.
And then once you do, it's like
Then you want two
more,
45s.
you know?
Then you want
Exactly.
3 45s. You
But
know?
we forget where we started.
I know, because it's easy.
Yeah, or you get used to it. We get used to like, you know, this is who I am or this is what I have or whatever. You know, even maybe for you, just when we first hopped on, I said, dude, you're a huge inspiration to me. And, you know, through my journey and times and, you know, it's like, wow, like I forget. And we don't mean to forget, but it's like, remember who the hell you are.
Yeah.
And remember like what you stand for and what you love and allow that to just be
And never forget how
powerful.
hard you worked
Yeah.
to get to where you are today.
Exactly.
Because if you continue working at that same pace, you're going to be so much further 1 year from now, 5 years from now,
And
10 years from now.
I think and I mean, I'm talking a lot for myself, but I know a lot of people can relate is, you know, if it doesn't happen within a year, it's like, don't get discouraged. Just keep going because you don't know when your time is. And don't allow the comparison to really
For
creep
sure.
in because, you know, I've had that and I still do sometimes. Man, I wish I'm like, okay, well, hold on. I'm going in the wrong mindset of like thinking and all that. And I really like then get to switch the perspective of everything and be like, wow, I'm really doing it right now. Like if I were to do this 3 years ago, talk like this, I wouldn't be able to have the experiences or you know, being able to share what I'm sharing until now. Like this is my time. And like once you really, I feel like embrace that, that's like, okay, now I'm living in it. You know, like I was just telling my boyfriend, he's like, hey, you haven't really told much about, you know, why you're so excited.
Sure.
You guys, I was like yesterday at his house, I'm so nervous. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, what am I? He said, what are you so nervous of? And I'm like, okay, he doesn't really get it.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, well, I feel like I'm nervous because it's an opportunity for me to be vulnerable, which I've always been scared, but I know there's like so much greatness in that vulnerability. So stepping into that and then meeting like you guys and like all this, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Like, let's just like breathe and everything's okay. Like remembering exactly what we're saying, just who you are. And, I don't know. I just want everybody to really know that like you are someone special and you really have so much life ahead of you to choose to just live the life that you desire, you know, and the happiness that you want. And it's going to take some time and wherever you're at, but just one day at a time,
Yeah.
you know?
And you can become whoever it is you
You're
want to become. You really can.
Yeah. You're the
Like-
driver of your life.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat.
Whatever you're passionate about inside, right in here, that thing that we're all passionate, like, and everybody's like different, right?
You got a nice face right here.
No, I
Yeah, right over here.
Was it that
no,
bad,
no, I
Michelangelo?
like it. I like it.
I was saying it was beautiful. I liked it.
But whatever it is, like that's what
Yeah.
what people need to go after.
That's where the purpose is.
That's where the
But it's
purpose
always
is.
helping people in there. That
There
little
is
spot
yes,
right there
there's
is always helping people.
If
Is
you,
part of it.
If you're desiring cars, money, a big house, and a swimming pool full of girls in bikinis,
You might get it. You won't be happy though.
you won't be happy.
You won't be happy.
You won't be happy.
You won't be happy. I did pray for that.
Did you get
Oh,
it?
yeah, I did.
You did?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Can you tell us about it?
Sure.
I don't want to hear about it.
I had a pool full of beer.
A beer?
Yeah, it was my dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Filled
Did
the
you never
pool.
see that pool, that thing with the beer?
Yeah, I
the
did.
commercial? That was
Yeah.
my dream. I did that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I thought the last time I relapsed that's how it was going to be.
Oh.
I thought that I was going to have, I had money.
Yeah.
I had
Right.
cars. I had
Oh, shit.
drugs.
That probably added to the lapse.
I had alcohol. I thought there was going to be 50 beautiful women at my house and maybe like
Nothing.
2 friends.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, it was just me, a bunch of alcohol,
Lord have mercy.
meth,
And your fucking iPhone
and my iPhone. Yeah.
Terrible.
in the
Terrible.
closet, in the bedroom, in the closet,
In the bedroom, in the closet,
Yeah.
sticking needles
in the
my-
toilet.
Yeah.
God,
Horrible.
bad times. Bad times.
Just like a feeling of just emptiness. I remember feeling like that.
For sure.
Lost, alone.
Lost.
Scared,
Scared.
honestly. Yeah. And like, just, I really, at one point, I didn't know who or what was going to happen. Like, I didn't know how to get out of it. Like, I've had some really deep, you know,
sure.
dark spots of just myself, of what I've experienced. And, you know, I feel like getting away from it all, you know, even if it's your family, it's okay.
For sure.
You have to get away for you. And I got stuck staying for a bit, or not knowing how to get out, or
Yep.
being like sucked back in because
Or
of
I
like,
can help, or feeling
or
the
when it
guilt
does
of, like,
help,
yeah.
and then like they turn on you, and it's just like this. Oh, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
So
I mean, sometimes your family can be the worst.
Yeah.
Sure.
The worst because they're the ones that have tell you, well, that's never going to happen for us.
or
That's-
to
that's-
you, like I've had like that's never gonna happen. You're never, you know. I started allowing someone's hurt. I allowed and what they were saying to become beliefs of who I am and all that.
So that's one thing I was going to tell you about becoming vulnerable. And as you start to tell your story more and more, and you want to become more and more vulnerable, there's always ways to tell your story without hurting the people that hurt you.
Of course.
You know, there are ways to still get your message out there without actually naming all the people that.
I mean, you did it in your in that post. You know, you shared a little bit of strength in there. You know, so it's like finding little ways of doing that without putting people on blast, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because I don't, you know, you want to be so vulnerable. You want to, like, it's nothing like I'm leading with love. Like, I want even the ones I got hurt from, or I don't want them to feel shitty. It's like, no, like, this hurt people. And it's okay that you were hurt. It's okay you're dealing with this. You know, I'm dealing with my own stuff too. Like, we're all relatable on it. Let's just come together and be better, you know, like it's a little squad.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and what's cool about telling your story, right, is not the the experience, but the more beautiful part about a story. So when we tell our stories, like in 12-step meetings, or they ask us to speak at a speaker meeting, what we're told to do is share our experience, strength, and hope, right? And a lot of speakers in the 12-step community, they give this much of their experience and this much of their strength and hope, and then they end. But it's more beautiful to be like, here's this much of my experience, because your experience when you're telling a story in any time is you're just qualifying that you should be here telling this story, whether it's up on the stage, or whatever. It's so much more beautiful to share the experience and the hope that you
Solution.
the solution.
Because everybody is searching for the answer. So the answer is you've gotten there. You have the solution. The solution is the cherry on top of the pain and destruction and turmoil and
What you're
all
revert
the
back
chaos.
to every time.
For sure.
Mine was faith. Mine was God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. It's plain and simple. Just wrap it up like that. You don't really need to know like the bad part through it. It really was. It was him. And I remember even one day, like, I don't know if you guys even seen like angel numbers or like anything like that, but I remember always seeing like 4s and 7s, and it was always like related around my car accident. It's the craziest thing. And I remember like on the 7th year, I was like, all right, this has to be special. Like, you know, like 7 days God was there, and he wrote like all these things, right? And so I'm like, all right. And it just so happened to be on Sunday, and I was doing life insurance with actually Ed Milet, his best friend, would be like mentored by the best people. It was so, I love that because it's mindset, you know? And I called off everything. No, I didn't even show up. I was like, all right, they literally, the pastor's like, we're baptizing people at 1:00. Like, I'm like, that's my call, and I got to do it. I don't know. I felt it. And I left. No one knew. I'm like, well, I'm getting baptized over here now, so I'm not there. You know, like, no one never even think, like, oh, you're at church, like, being dunked in a pool. But, yeah, I did that, and the pastor's name was Paul, and it was, like, my dad's name. I was like, I felt so aligned. And I just feel like if you just, like, stay close to your faith, like, you're going to get little nuggets thrown at you, you know? And however that looks like, you know, mine's God, and I just definitely think that was the solution at all causes.
I agree. Opening up your eyes and listening.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're going to see signs happen all the time. It's just whether or not we're in the right headspace to see them and hear them.
Yeah, and just ask, pray, and ask, and it shall receive.
For sure.
You know.
Well, damn, this was a beautiful, long podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
I loved
beautiful
it.
and long.
You have great energy.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
amazing. I think that what you've accomplished and what you've been through and where you're at is a huge testament of the inner work that you've done for yourself to be the best version of yourself. And to what people forget is that when you do that inner work, not only are you becoming who you're destined to become, but then you are able to then walk into a relationship and have a partner and have a healthy relationship. So then you're bringing something full and whole instead of turmoil and shambles expecting another person to fix you, because that's not going to work either.
And honestly, that's exactly where I'm in. Like, I'm in alignment with my assignment.
Yeah.
Like, I truly am this year, and I'm so grateful because I've been working so hard to gain my self-worth and to gain my love, my confidence, and that is my message, is just to never stop and just to continually to choose you and lead with love and know you have a bigger purpose. And if you may not know like where and how that's going to happen, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing and just allow that to just manifest into bigger things and to work on yourself. You know, break old habits, just always learning and trying to become the best version of yourself each and every day. And that's huge. And I've met someone who's amazing. I love him with all my heart. We have a great relationship, and he's taught me some things in myself that I still need to work on.
Sure.
And I really truly believe that, like, you know, you could heal and you can do all this work, but you're not going to be fully healed when you meet somebody, but you're going to, when that right person will help you heal those deeper wounds, you know, and with all the work that you've had learning how to communicate and be vulnerable and open up. And I'm not saying I was the best, but hey, I've learned throughout the time too, you know, and as you do, it just, you allow good to come and know that you're worthy of receiving that. And that's something I've been blocking off for a very long time.
For sure.
So when you start stepping into that and allowing yourself to, you know, receive the love that you're pouring out to so many people, like, don't put yourself in that corner and forget about yourself either. And I think people, like I said, just think selfishness is such a negative thing, but it's not.
Right.
It's not. It's what you do with it matters.
I agree.
Just with
And
their
then
story.
what do we add? Just add what?
God, baby.
God.
Just add
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
God.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Ash Cali. It's Ash_Cali. And YouTube, Ashley Caligiuri. I'm trying to get that, you know, that channel up and going. And yeah, got TikTok. Same thing, Ash Cali.
Awesome. Amazing.
Thank you so much for
TikTok.
having me, guys.
Talk.
We
Thank you
suck
so much
at
for coming
TikTok.
on.
Not for long.
She doesn't, though.
No,
Not for
I
long.
do.
I got a guy.
You don't have TikTok?
I do, but
Oh.
TikTok, I still don't really understand TikTok.
I have like a hate and love relationship with
I
social
hate
media.
it. Oh, well, I love
I love it.
Instagram, but
I know I do, but I'm saying like there's a part of me where I'm like old school. I just want to be like, you know, you never have to worry about like social media and doing this and keeping active. And then it's like, oh, okay, I love that, but we need to find consistency in the balance between the two, you know?
yeah.
I'm like creating content, editing. It's a lot. It's
It
a
is.
whole
It's a
other job. That is.
I'll be happy when I just like I don't have to do any of it anymore. It just self posts itself and
Or just when I have someone who's my best friend, does great videography work and all that stuff. I'm hiring some someone just to do all the, even though it's just editing and this, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a ton.
Like, listen, I'll do what you need me to do.
Obviously have a full-time engineer that.
I wish I went to school for editing. It served me well right now.
You know what though? It's so much easier to edit stuff these days than it was.
Oh, stop it! It's still so difficult for me.
I mean, you don't.
But I know. You sound like Jonathan. There's an app and all
yeah, like it makes it. I know, but it's just like, okay, coming up with the caption, what's the message? Okay, that's one day. Now the next day,
and then, like splicing things in,
little short stories, and then it's a lot.
It's a lot.
God, they sound exactly the same.
Wow.
I'm just.
They said the exact same thing. It was like, what the?
We're just speaking
but
facts,
we love
guys.
it at the
We're
same
just
time,
facts.
but you know,
we're just saying what is factual. We love it, but it is difficult.
It is.
So like maybe sometimes I want to be like, you know, sitting, not worrying about does this line up to this song, and you know,
yeah, that too.
Whew.
Do you guys do it?
Or the best is when you do a video and then doesn't save it, or it's just like
that is the worst.
I just wrote this whole thing out. It felt so good. Now I got to remember it, and I got to redo the whole video.
Almost punched a wall.
I almost threw my phone out the window.
Do you guys ever try to do those videos and like mimic the person?
Yeah.
Talking.
Oh, talking. No.
Like they'll it'll be like a motivational thing, and you're.
Oh, like a voiceover that they're doing. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I suck at those.
I gave up on that. I'll just maybe look cute and drink coffee like some other girls do, and just let the audio go. Yeah. Or just create your own. You should do that.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
That's the cut.
What are our other choices? We're out, but what are our other choices? It's really short, so you can only play the air guitar for a second.
Yeah.
Ready?
Wait, Ashley needs to send the wall.
We're not leaving yet. It's not. We're still sitting down here.
I know, but
all right, we're done. We're out.
He just cut us.
Oh, that's just the verbal.
I know. I wasn't saying it like we're leaving.
Oh.
We gotta take a picture first.
Yeah.
So don't move.
Oh,
here?
In our